Are you in the market to buy a push mower, but you're not exactly sure how to check it out properly? Well, I'm going to walk you through some simple steps on how to inspect a push lawnmower to see if it's something you should buy or if it's something you should pass on. All right, so what are you going to need to bring with you to go check out this mower? Well, here's a simple layout of the tools you should need. First and foremost, of course you're going to want to wear a mask. Bring a flashlight. You're going to want to bring a socket to take off the spark plug. And so I got these at Tractor Supply. You got a 21 millimeter or 13/16, and you also have the old 16 millimeter or 5/8. These are kind of the standard size. This is for smaller ones, but you want to grab a flathead and a Phillips stubby screwdriver, of course, pair of gloves, and a clean rag. And if you're really going to get in depth, you can take a compression test kit, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Okay, first things first. What you got to do is walk up to the machine and get kind of close to the exhaust here. If it's hot or if the engine feels hot, I would pass on it immediately. The reason is there's a lot of scam artists out there who can get their engine running and get it running properly once it's warm. However, you want to make sure that you inspect or you check a mower from a cold start only. So if it's hot, I would immediately walk away. All right, so first thing I would do is I would check the oil. So, of course, you want to wear your gloves, take your clean rag. I would wipe the stick off first, and assuming the engine is cold, like we talked about, and you want to get the dipstick down, you want to take a look. So if you can see right there, the oil seems to be in pretty good condition, and it is right at the full line. So the oil seems to be pretty good in this engine. A lot of people will say, all service done, recently serviced. So if you have dirty oil, they didn't do a service. Okay, next we can check the air filter and see what kind of condition that's in. And this is where your stubby screwdriver will come in handy. All right, so we pop this off. As you can see, it's pretty dirty. You could probably just blow this out with an air compressor. It doesn't look, well, actually maybe this is time for replacement for this one. So now you're gonna need to spend, I don't know, 10 or 12 bucks at your hardware store getting a new air filter. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is check for spark. So you pull the boot off there, and this is my socket from Tractor Supply. Actually has a magnet built in, which is really nice to have. So just want to gently pop that out. And what you're going to be checking for is just to see what kind of condition the plug looks like. If it's all black and beat up, you're not really going to want to keep it in there. But this one doesn't look too bad. I mean, there's not a lot of scoring. There's a little bit of discoloration, but overall, it's, you know, a clean-ish plug. And so I think that checks out. You just don't want to run a small engine on a bad plug. You'll get improper spark. Okay, the next thing you're gonna do is check the blade and the spindle. For this, you always wanna leave the spark plug boot off. This way there's no way the engine can get spark and it can't just turn over. You never can be too careful. So you wanna lift this guy up. You wanna check the blade for any big nicks. You also wanna make sure that it's rotating freely. And in this case, it is. If there's any big nicks or cuts or anything like that in the blade, you're gonna know it's gonna need to be replaced, and so that's gonna be another expense. You also wanna give it a really good shake up and down, side to side, because this right here is the spindle shaft, and if this is shaking at all, you're gonna need to replace that as well, and that's another expense. And if you try to run it like that for too long, it's gonna shake, and you're gonna ruin the bearings in the motor, and it's gonna be shot. All right, the next part is where this flashlight comes in handy. You just want to kind of go underneath and you're looking for fluid leaks. You want to see if there's oil leaking, if there's gas leaking, or things like that, because then, you know, you might have another problem. You're looking for big spots of discoloration or oil puddling, or if there's like a, you know, grass clumping in one area, but it isn't in other areas. And as far as this one, it looks pretty clean. So it looks like everything's pretty tight. There's not fuel leaking or anything like that. So we're good to go in that department. All right, and then lastly, you just kind of look for anything abnormal. You want to make sure if everything looks normal, it's not jury-rigged with some random bolt in there. You want to make sure the throttle cable pulls nicely as it's supposed to. And make sure it rolls, the wheels aren't cracked. You want to take a look at the deck and see if it's got any big bites taken out of it, because then you know that this thing was kind of beat up. But if the spark checks out and the air filter's not too bad, the oil looks good, it's not shaking all around the place, I think you're ready to start. Last thing to do is just see how she runs. I already primed it. I'm gonna pull the lever back here. Okay. And there she goes. Okay, as you can see, this is a great running lawnmower. So this is exactly what you're looking for when you want a good used push mower. The value on these really ranges. It depends on what you want to spend. I probably wouldn't go over 100, 120 bucks for a used model unless it had a new plug, a new blade, or things like that. But remember to always inspect, because you might need a new blade, you might need a new plug, you might need a new air filter, and those do add up. So if you're spending 100 bucks, you're going to have to spend X amount in parts to get it going, so that'll give you some negotiating power. So I appreciate you guys watching. I really hope this helped. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to be doing some more videos on this lawnmower that can hopefully help you guys in the future. Stay safe out there.